What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Realms of Metal. Eddie here, back with you from my happy place, my metal room here in the woods in PA. It's the weekend, man. I'm ready to chill. It was another long ass week, and we're gonna talk about the new Morbid Saint record today, Swallowed by Hell. I was anticipating this record for a while now. I had Jim from Morbid Saint back on the channel in like October last year, and he started talking about it. And I didn't really know, even though they had a new record in the works, to be honest with you. But I have fond memories of Morbid Saint from when I was a kid, from hearing Spectrum of Death. Spectrum of Death, to me, is their first full length. It came out in 1990 and is an absolute cult classic in my book. You know, my friends and I were blown away by it. And Morbid Saint, hearing that record, that was like thrash taken to another level. So, like, I think the first time I heard, see, I got into, the Bay Area stuff when I was a kid. So Metallica was my gateway. And then, Megadeth, Exodus, Overkill, Anthrax, that's the stuff that I loved, Slayer. But when I heard bands like Sepultura, Morbid Saint, when I heard Beneath the Remains, I was like, whoa. When I heard Spectrum of Death, I was like, whoa, it's like thrash to another level. It was heavier, it was faster, the vocals were harsher. So that's what Morbid Saint brings to the table style-wise. It's a brutal as fuck thrash metal band, so way heavier than the Bay Area stuff. I'd put them in the category of, like we just talked about, Sepultura all the way up till Beneath the Remains, Demolition Hammer, the first two Demolition Hammer records, Tortured Existence, Old Creator, Endless Pain, Pleasure to Kill, Dark Angel, Darkness Ascends, Sadist, the old Sadist records, how heavy as fuck they were, right? That's what Morbid Saint is, that kind of thrash, heavier than the Bay Area stuff. So Morbid Saint actually formed in 1984, but their first demo didn't come out until 1988. It was called Lock Up Your Children. And then in 1990, we got this masterpiece called Spectrum of Death. Like I said, absolute stone cold classic, a cult classic of a record. Like, it's just, everything about this record is goddamn amazing. And then they were going to release another album. It was going to be called Destruction System. So they did like a demo of that in like 1992. But for some reason or another, it never got released, and then the band ended up splitting up. So the band was active from like 1984 to 1994. And then they kind of reformed around 2010 to the present. And in 2015, we got the second Morbid Saint full length, Destruction System. Another solid as fuck record, really good. So here we are today, all these years later, 34 fucking years later, we get Swallowed by Hell. Like I said, I got it last weekend. I ordered the Extreme Fan Bundle right from the band, and I had all this signed shit in there, all this extra stuff. I did an unboxing of it here on the channel, man. Check that out. And I did an unboxing last Sunday, and I've listened to the record all week nonstop. Probably spun it 20 times or so, between the vinyl, the CD, bring it on my iPod, listen to it on my iPod, in the car, at work, or whatever. And what else can I say about this record? It has lived up to expectations. Whatever expectations I had, it lives up to it and exceeds the expectations. That's what I think of it. And let's talk about it, shall we? So let me pull up the artwork for it, get it in the background here so everybody can admire the beauty of it. Swallowed by Hell, released February 9th, 2024 on High Roller Records. Like I said on the unboxing, High Roller does a great job, great label. The one that I got was direct from the band, and it was signed and everything by the band. You can see the signatures there. You can actually see a number 2 here in the corner. And I got actually the number 2 copy, according to what Jim told me from Morbid Saint, which is pretty fucking awesome. So definitely going to be cherished. Definitely cherish this for sure. And, let's talk about the record, man. The lineup: Pat Lind on vocals, original member. So when I say original member, I'm going to go back to 1988 on the Lock Up Your Children demo. Pat Lind on vocals, beast of a vocalist, man. Jim Forgatis on guitar, original member. Jay Visser on guitar, another original member. Now you have Bob Zabel now on bass for this record, who joined in 2010, like kind of the reformation of the band. And you got DJ Bajamel on drums, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, my man. So DJ on drums, he joined in 2016, and like I said, Bob and DJ, this is their first record, with Morbid Saint. Mixed and mastered by Scott Elliott, who has done stuff for like Blood Soaked, Deprived Existence. He's also an active member of a band called Morning Pyre, who I've never heard of, but I'm going to check out. Definitely check them out and see what they're about. Recorded by Chris Jersasik, if I'm pronouncing that right, probably not. But he's done stuff for like Jungle Rot, Origin, November's Doom. And he's actually an ex-member of those bands as well. He's an ex-member of Jungle Rot, which is actually a Wisconsin band, just like Morbid Saint. Ex-member of November's Doom as well. It's kind of like a death doom metal band. Really good stuff. So check those out. Cover art by the mighty Ed Repka, who we've talked about many times on the channel here. And Swallow by Hell is 10 tracks, clocking in about 47 minutes. And it's 47 minutes of fucking brutality. Let me tell you that. Like, let's just go track by track. First track, Rise from the Ashes, clocks in at 4:02. The opening riff of Rise from the Ashes reminds me of a swarm of killer bees attacking some motherfucker. Like I could picture somebody like walking on a beach or something like that, or wherever. I picture these bees coming at them. That's the opening riff of Rise from the Ashes. And that riff is actually repeated through the track. Like, it's so fucking heavy. It's so fucking good. Like, Rise from the Ashes was probably the last single that they released for this record. And I didn't want to hear it because I had already heard 3 tracks. And I didn't want to hear anymore. I just kind of wanted to be surprised by the rest. And when I heard that opening riff to Rise from the Ashes, like, oh my God, like, this is so, gave me chills. It was so good. So that opening riff, like I said, sounds like a swarm of killer bees right from the get-go. You listen to it, you let me know what you think. And it's repeated throughout the song. The drums are insane right off the bat, off the hook. Pat's vocals are off the chain. Like, that guy hasn't missed a beat. Spectrum of Death came out, 34 years ago? That fucking guy is still brutal as fuck. He still sings fast, aggressive, harsh vocals. Like, oh, it's hearing that track. It's like everything I wanted to hear out of the Morbid Saint record. Like, it's just gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. I'm thinking about the song. I got these songs fresh in my head because, like I said, I've been listening to this record all week. Blistering solo at 143. Now you've got Jim and Jay trading off solos on a bunch of these songs. You could tell there's a solo. As soon as that solo's done, the other guy's kicking in with his solo. Blistering, fast solos. Every track has solos. That's Rise from the Ashes. That's track 1. Track 2, Swallow by Hell, comes in at 4:59. There's like kind of this spoken intro to open the track. Another killer riff to open. Fast, insane drums. Solo off the chain. Like, oof. Just, there's solos on every track of this record. Every track has solos. Killer solos. Track 3 is called Bloody Floors, comes in at 3:55. Isolated bass to open. You guys know my reviews. I love to hear, isolated bass. I love to single out the bass player and the drummer in certain parts, especially in thrash metal records, just to give them the spotlight for maybe, a little bit, a few seconds, 10 seconds, a bass line, a drum fill. And you get that on this track. So you got that killer isolated bass to open. And I love that about this track. It's a great moment for me. This record is full of great moments. Like, every track has great moments. Like, I made notes on all these tracks, and it just warms my heart. Like, all this, everything that I wrote down. You got a trade off of solos at the 2-minute mark on this one. Just number 4 is Burn Pit. Comes in at 3:54. It's the shortest track on the record, but like 1 second. Cool arrangement to open it. The drums are noticeably, you could hear them, like, they just pop on that song. Love the drums on that song. Insane as fuck. The song is heavy and aggressive. All these songs are heavy and aggressive. You got solo, you got trade off of solos at 2:12 to like 2:53. And that track kind of ends with like the the sound of like fire burning in the distance. Like it's just really cool. Paints a picture in your head. I love tracks that paint a picture in your head. Track 5 is called Fear Incarnate, clocks in at 4:36. You got the intro, you hear kind of like these screaming sounds, and then right after you get isolated drums, which I love. Um, then it goes into this killer lick, and it sounds like a fucking buzzsaw on that track. So good, real headbanger of a track, track you want to get in the pit and mix it up to. But all these tracks are like that. They really are. Solo at 2:57, kind of another of a trade-off between Jim and Jay. That lasts to about 3:41. Great stuff. Track 6 is called Fuck Them All, clocks in at 5:36, and that's actually the longest track on this record. Opens really fast, another super aggressive track. 2:48 goes kind of into another riff. Solo at 3 minutes, another kind of trade-off solo, and that lasts till about 3:47. Fast solo on that. And then near the end of that track, you kind of get this like chugging thrash riff that's absolutely killer. Check out the end of Fuck Them All. You're going to love that. So number 7, we've got Bleed Them Dry, 5:23, clocks in. Love the opening riff to Bleed Them Dry. At about 32 seconds, the bass kicks in and you got the drums going on in the background. Love that stuff. Then 3:03 kind of goes into this other kind of arrangement, which was really cool. Then at the 3:30 mark, it's got just thrashing, headbanging riff. Solo at 3:35. Trade off up until about 3:51. Another banger of a track, man. Number 8, you got Pine Tuxedo, clocks in at 4:45. Love the way it opens. Love the guitar arrangement in the beginning. 34 seconds in, you got this shredding fucking solo, killer solo. And then at 45 seconds in, you got this isolated riff that kind of goes into the first verse. And, Pat kills it on that track. He kills it on all these tracks, but then you kind of got this cool pause at 2:16, and it goes right into a solo. Great moment of the record, man. This record is full of great moments. Track 9 is Killer Instinct. It clocks in at 4:19. Sick as fuck riff to open. 2:34, you got a fast solo. Then you get at 2:50, you got another slow, but it kind of slows down, and it's kind of a melodic solo. It's probably the most melodic solo on the record, but it's cool. It fits the song really well. You can hear the drums going on in the background. It's just great stuff. Killer Instinct, I think, is the most underrated track on this record. It's one of my favorites, and I think it's underrated. I really do. It's track 10 is Psychosis, clocks in at 5:29. Opens with kind of a siren, like an air siren, which is cool. 24 seconds in, you get this pummeling riff. Pat's vocals really stand out on this one. It's almost like he takes it down a notch on this track vocally. A little bit less aggression, not much, but a little bit. And I kind of like that. It's a nice contrast from what he has done on all the tracks prior. You kind of see him to take it down a little bit, and it's still pretty harsh. It's still fucking awesome and heavy. Solo at 2:22, trade off again to 2:59. So this record is full of great moments. Like, it really is. All the tracks are either great or good. You're not going to be skipping anything. What do I like about this record? Like, what's not to like? It's fast. It's aggressive and heavy as fuck. Completely in your face. It's pummeling. There's no groove metal to be found here. Like, this is thrash metal. Like, it's not overproduced. I think it was produced really well. Sometimes you get these thrash records and you listen to them and they just sound like, don't sound like they did back in the day. I mean, nothing sounds like it does back in the day, but I don't think Swallowed by Hell is overproduced at all. I think they did a great job with it. You tell me what you think of the production on this record. I think it kills. The guitar tone is sick as fuck. It cuts you like a fucking razor. Like, I love the guitar tone. The songwriting is off the hook. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you can have the most talented guy on any instrument, and it wouldn't matter if they can't write a good song. These guys write good songs. Every song is good. No bullshit. They're either good or great. You can hear every instrument. Like I said, I love the isolated bass and parts. I love the drums. You know, like I say on other reviews that I do, my ears tend to gravitate towards the guitars and the vocals a lot. And I tend to miss the bass and the drums because I'm just focused on the guitar and the vocals. But I listened to this record one pass through, just listening to the drums on every track, and the fucking man, he kills it on it. Great drumming on this. Bass is great. Guitars are great. Pat's vocals are great. You can hear everything in the mix. Like I said, drums are insane. I mean, 34 years later, like I said with Pat, you know, still laying it down on Swallowed by Hell, just like he did on Spectrum of Death. Like I'm blown away. I don't know what else to say. Um, you know, not bad for a bunch of guys in their mid 50s. I got to tell you that. Like this is not watered down bullshit. This is fucking heavy as fuck thrash metal. So if that's your thing, this is your record. My favorite tracks on here are, I got 10 out of 10 tracks, 6 of them. Rise from the Ashes, Swallowed by Hell, Bloody Floors, Bleed Them Dry, Pine Tuxedo, and Killer Instinct. They're all my favorites off this record. But the other 4 tracks are no slouches either. Like I said, not a bad track on here. You're not going to be skipping anything. Like, it's just, you know, boom. That's just brutality coming at you. I love every second of this record. It's really, I'm not saying I had expectations for this record. I mean, I knew it was going to be heavy, but I didn't know what to expect, you know, all these years later. And I'm floored. I'm blown away by what these guys put out. Like it's exactly what I wanted and then some. And, you know, you can't get a higher compliment from me than that. Like really. To me, Swallowed by Hell is the pinnacle of what a modern thrash record should be. Like it really is. Like it's so fucking heavy that, you know, after you listen to it, you shit steel. Like that's how heavy it is. So I can't say enough good things about it. If you don't have it, go pick it up. You're not going to be disappointed. I'm telling you right now. You know, here's my score, man. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. I don't give 9.5 out of 10 all the time. And I know it's very early in the year. It's only the end of February, but this is definitely going to be in my top 5 of the year for sure. I know we got, you know, a long ways to go, but I can't see many bands topping what Morbid Saint has done with Swallowed by Hell. I really can't. My hat's off to those guys. Sorry about that. My hat's off to those guys. And, you know, like I said, I can't say enough good things about it. Go pick the fucking thing up. Swallowed by Hell, Morbid Saint. Thanks for hanging well around with me on a Friday night. You know, have a killer rest of your weekend, and hails to Morbid Saint, man. See you guys again real soon.